Peggy Lemons,
I'm here.
Brenda Olmos,
I'm here.
John Kavanaugh,
I'm here.
Vilma Stallings,
Yes.
Isabel Aguayo,
I'm here.
and Lori Guillen again. Are you on the line, Lori Guillen? Okay, we're going to put everyone just on a brief hold while we try to get a hold of Lori.
Okay.
One
Okay.
second.
Good evening. This is the City of Paramount, and we are holding the City Council meeting for Tuesday, April the 7th. This meeting is being held pursuant to Executive Order N-29-20 issued by Governor Gavin Newsom, allowing all council members to participate in this meeting via teleconference. The meeting is being live streamed on Spectrum Cable TV Channel 36 and on the city's YouTube channel, available by clicking the link on the city's website, ParamountCity.com, or the public may listen to the audio by calling 503-300-6827. Conference code is 986492. That's area code 503-300-6827. Conference code 986492. And public comment is welcome via email at crequest@ParamountCity.com. That's crequest@ParamountCity.com, or by calling 562-220-2225. That's 562-220-2225. And all of this has been officially posted on the city's website as well. So with that, I will turn it now over to Mayor Hanson to start us off on the meeting.
Hang on just a second, John. Hang on a minute.
Okie doke.
I'm getting a lot of squeaking going on. Are you there?
Yes, we're here. Feedback, or is it squealing pretty loud?
I don't know. It's just kind of squeaking. It cuts out a little bit and it comes back on.
Is everybody else getting the same feedback as the mayor's?
Yeah, I'm good to do.
Yes. Yeah. No, I can hear it.
Okay, we're working on it right now. Let's see if we can correct that.
How's that? Is it better for anyone?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. The
I think so.
volume is better. There's just a squeak in the background that I think we may have to deal with. I don't know what that squeaky sound is, but the volume is better.
If maybe when everybody is not talking, just have your phone on mute. So
Yeah, that might help. Okay. Okay, Mr. Mayor,
You ready to go?
we are.
Call the regular meeting of Paramount City Council to order. First, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by myself, the invocation by Vice Mayor Del Hoffmeyer. All please stand. I assume we are. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
As we open the meeting in prayer, we would like to remember those who have been affected by the coronavirus. We pray for healing and protection for people throughout the world, especially those in the city of Paramount. Continue to stay home, stay safe, and take care of yourself and your family. Mayor Tom and myself wish you and your family a very blessed Easter season. Let's pray. Dear God, tonight we come here together that we're praying for the new city council that's coming in to take over. Lord, we just pray that you will guide them, watch over them, and bless them as they go. We want to pray for Velma and Isabel, and for Peggy and Brenda and Lori. Just watch over them, Lord, as they grow the welfare of our city. We'd like to also pray for our staff. They've done a great job in our city. We just pray that you will continue to bless them. And we just pray for health and prosperity for the city of Vermont. And it keeps growing like it has been. And this we ask in your name. Amen.
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 The roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, before we do the roll call, one of the other thoughts that our IT staff mentioned to us is that if we can, maybe if you could take your phone off speaker, and that might help with any noises that you might be hearing. With that, I'll turn it over to Heidi for the roll call.
Councilmember Guillen, Councilmember Guillen,
Here.
Councilmember Lemons,
Here.
Councilmember Olmos,
Here.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Here.
Mayor Hansen.
Here. Very good. Okay, consent calendar.
Move it.
Darrell, I move we approve it.
Lemon, second.
Been moved second by Hoffmeyer, or moved by Hoffmeyer, second by Lenz to approve the consent calendar. Do I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Item number 5, resolution number 20.007, reciting the facts of the general municipal election held March 3rd, 2020, and declaring the results. We have staff report, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and Council. Back on March 3rd, as you know, we held an election for City Council and for a sales tax measure. Now that the election results have been certified by the county, the City Council needs to recite these facts of the election and also declare the results. Here to give you more details about this is our City Clerk, Ms. Heidi Luce. Heidi?
Thank you. Honorable Mayor and council members. As John mentioned, a general municipal election was held in the city of Paramount on March 3rd, 2020. At this election, voters in Paramount voted to elect 3 members of the city council and considered whether or not to adopt Measure Y, Paramount's public safety local control measure. The election was consolidated with the statewide presidential primary election, and the Los Angeles County Registrar Recorder County Clerk certified the election results on March 27th. The city of Paramount saw record voter turnout in this election. Of the city's 23,598 registered voters, 6,525 ballots were cast, resulting in almost 28% voter turnout. Out of the 13 candidates on the ballot, the voters elected Isabel Aguayo, Brenda Olmos, and Vilma Cuellar Stallings to a 4-year term on the City Council. And the voters showed overwhelming support for Measure Y, Paramount's public safety local control measure. The measure needed 51% to pass and exceeded that with 71% of the ballots cast in favor of Measure Y. Before you this evening is Resolution 20007, which declares the results of the election and incorporates the Registrar Recorder County Clerk's certification, as well as the statement of votes cast for each of the candidates and the votes cast for and against Measure Y. It is recommended that the City Council adopt Resolution 20007, declaring the results of the March 3rd election. I'm available to answer any questions.
I'm sorry, I can't tell when we're done. It's just breaking up terrible.
Mayor Hanson, this is Lemons. I'll move resolution 20007.
Mayor Hanson, almost, I will second.
Somebody has their TV.
Yeah.
There's some background noise, so I can't hear.
I know, can somebody turn off their TV or turn the volume off?
I do believe that a motion has been made to read by title only and adopt resolution number 20.007. Motion was by Lemons, I believe. Second was by Hoffmeyer. But it's breaking up, or almost, excuse me.
Yes,
Was that correct?
that was correct.
It's better sounding too. I think somebody turned off their TV.
Okay, it's time for a roll call then.
Yes.
I apologize, Mayor. I did not catch the second on that.
Almost.
Thank you. Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
Yes?
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yeah.
Mayor Hanson.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, item number 6, and I'm done at this point, am I not? Mr. City Manager?
Yes, sir. You have just introduced item number 6, which is the oath of office. So now we will move on to item number 6. Thank you very much, Mayor Hanson.
Yes.
So with that, I'll turn it over to our city clerk once again, Ms. Heidi Luce, to handle this. Heidi?
Thank you. We'll administer the oath of office to each of the candidates one at a time. So if I can ask Councilmember Aguayo to first stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against
Doesn't do anything.
all enemies, foreign and domestic,
Foreign and domestic.
that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter? Councilmember Aguayo?
I do.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I believe somebody has their TV on. Can somebody mute their TV, please?
Maybe we could just go through and make sure everybody is not on their speakerphone or has the TV on. This is Lemons. I have no television on, and I do not have the speaker on.
Great. Hoffmeyer, do you have?
Lori,
Oh, Lori, go ahead.
And
I
I'm
have
on
no.
mute.
Okay.
I have no TV on. There's no one else in my house, but yet I can hear whispering on the phone.
Okay. Councilmember Olmos, you have your TV on or anything?
I do not.
Okay. Councilmember Hanson or Vice Mayor or Mayor Hanson.
No,
Okay.
now it seems to calm down though.
Yeah, Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer?
No, I do not have anything on.
Okay. Council-elects Guayo and Cuellar Stallings?
No,
Okay. Mr. Kavanaugh?
this is Quera Stallings. No.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, it seems to be quiet now, so.
And John, this is Councilmember Olmos. Can we have actually Heidi speak up a little bit too? We can barely hear her.
That's so true.
Okay, we sure will. She's going to switch places and try another mic.
Is that any better?
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to Councilmember Olmos then. Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter?
I do.
Congratulations. Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter?
I will.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you to all three, and congratulations to all three. We will now move on to item number 7, which is the reorganization and the selection of mayor and vice mayor. Ms. Luce, our city clerk, will open it up.
Nominations are open for mayor. Are there
I
any
nominate.
Are there any nominations?
This is Quera Stallings. I nominate Peggy Lemons.
Are there any further nominations?
I'll nominate myself, Lori Gillen.
Thank you. Nominations are closed. When called, please indicate your choice for mayor. Councilmember Aguayo? Councilmember Aguayo, can you...
Lemons.
Thank you. Councilmember Guillen?
Ian.
Councilmember Lemons?
Lemons.
Councilmember Olmos?
Lemons.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings?
Lemons.
Congratulations, Mayor Lemons.
Thank you.
And now we will
Now
hand,
move into selection for vice mayor, and we'll turn that over to the city clerk.
Nominations are open for vice mayor. Are there any nominations?
I would like to nominate Councilmember Olmos for vice mayor. This is Isabel.
Are there any further nominations? Please indicate your choice. When called, please indicate your choice for mayor. Councilmember Aguayo?
Olmos.
Councilmember Guillen?
Almost.
Councilmember Olmos?
Olmos.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings?
Almost.
Congratulations, Vice Mayor Olmos.
Thank you. Excuse me, just because I want the record to be clear, I didn't get asked. So this is Lemons. I would vote almost.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Mayor Lemons.
That's okay. Just want the record clear.
Thank you.
Am I free to move on in the agenda now, staff?
Yes, you are, Mayor.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to you, John, for updates on public comments.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. There was one public comment that I'm reporting back to the council, and that was from the March 17th, 2020 City Council meeting. We did have two speakers. One speaker required us to have a follow-up, and that was from Mr. Alfredo Buenuelos. Mr. Buenuelos was requesting assistance for tenants given the COVID-19 pandemic. The report back to you is that the City Council will discuss this issue during tonight's meeting, specifically with the anti-eviction ordinance. And with that, that concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Forgive me, I neglected to probably take care of some business here. First of all, just let me thank my colleagues for giving me this opportunity to serve the city of Paramount and its residents. And I also want to give the newly elected officials a chance to say a few words. So if you have something you'd like to share with us, we'll start with Vice Mayor Olmos.
Thank you, Mayor Lemons. Absolutely, I sure do. So let me start off by good evening, Paramount residents. And first, I would like to thank all of you for doing your part in leveling the curve this evening and watching this from the comfort of your own home. As you know, 9 months ago, I was appointed by the Paramount City Council to fill an unforeseen vacancy because they saw my passion for serving my community. These last 9 months have really allowed me to connect, listen, and address questions from the community. Today, I am honored to be with you now as an elected official by the residents of Paramount because you all recognize that same passion. Serving as an elected council member has truly been a lifelong aspiration that I've worked for over 14 years to achieve, and I will let that same passion drive me to serve you as your council member for the next 4 years. I will continue to bring focus on enhancing collaborations between the city and its residents and focus on Paramount's progression. I am still convinced Paramount's best days are ahead of us. I would like to say a special thank you to my family, friends, and all my supporters who helped me through this election. To former mayors Tom Hansen and Daryl Hoffmeyer, I would like to thank you for your numerous years of commitment to our beautiful city. Thank you for your leadership and for helping making Paramount the beautiful city it is today. To current council members Peggy Lemons and Lori Guillen, I look forward to continue servicing our city by side. To my new colleagues, I would like to welcome Councilmember Vilma Stillings and Isabella Guayo, and I look forward to hearing our ideas for our city and working alongside you as we continue Paramount's future progression. And lastly, the city staff, I'm truly excited to continue to work together. And I did want to say a little something in Spanish. Residentes de Paramount, solo les quería dar las gracias por todo su apoyo. Yo estoy aquí para trabajar y servir. Les invito a compartir sus ideas, opiniones conmigo, porque juntos podemos hacer un mejor ciudad. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Olmos. Councilmember Aguayo, would you like to say something? Yes. So, before anything, I really want to thank God because if it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be possible. And to the Paramount residents, thank you for giving me this opportunity to represent and serve you as your councilwoman. I am beyond honored and just so humbled by this. As I have said it before, I won't make any unrealistic promises because I alone can't do it. But I know that it's a group effort, so not just the council, but the residents. We're all in it together. What I will promise is that I'm going to keep pushing forward and be approachable and work hard for the residents. I will serve you, the Paramount residents. Now, there's no way I could have done this alone. Thank you to everyone that supported me in every way. To my official endorsers, I will always do what is right for Paramount and be worthy of receiving that endorsement. I am looking forward
to working with the current council members, Peggy Lemons and Lori Gillen, along with the newly elected Vilma Claire Stallings and Brenda Olmos. To the other candidates, thank you for pushing me to be the best version of me. I look forward to connecting with each of you and listening to your ideas. And my friends and I believe that I always Tom and Daryl, thank you both for the many years of service to our beautiful Paramount. Your integrity and love of our city is so evident to me. I will do everything in me to serve our residents in a manner that is always in line with those same values you possess. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to serve you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguayo. Councilmember Stallings, would you like to say something?
Yes. I want to express my heartfelt thanks to the citizens of Paramount for electing me to be the city councilwoman of your choice. I am very pleased with the voter turnout. It's encouraging to see so many engaged in their civic responsibilities. I am honored by the support that the voters gave me and humbled by the responsibility they have entrusted me to serve our community, our city. I will work tirelessly on your behalf to enhance the quality of life with a sense of commitment, professionalism, and community pride. I want to thank God, my family, and all those who volunteered and supported me. I look forward to continue moving our beautiful city in a positive direction with our new city council. Again, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve you. I am here to serve all of you. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Dr. Hanson, for all of these years that you served in our city. And I promise you, I will continue moving this city forward. For our Spanish-speaking residents, muchas gracias por darme la oportunidad para servirles y gracias por su apoyo. Aquí estoy para servirles. Muchas gracias y que Dios los bendiga. God bless the city of Paramount.
Thank you, Councilmember Stallings. I would just like to say that all of your words really touched my heart. I want to congratulate each of you and say that I'm also looking forward to working with you. This is a really great city, and it's filled with great people, and we're really so fortunate to have such a dedicated, hardworking staff whose creativity and talent never ceases to amaze me. I'm confident you're going to enjoy working with them as much as I do. I also want to take a minute to thank our outgoing mayor and vice mayor, Tom Hanson and Daryl Hoffmeyer. I am humbled and I'm honored to have had the opportunity to serve with men of such integrity. I've witnessed their dedication and their sacrifice firsthand. Their leadership and their love for this community was always on display. Tom, your steady, thoughtful deliberation of every issue and how your decisions would affect this community were always welcomed and admired. Daryl, your fearless and your get-it-done attitude and your willingness to give all to those in need was inspiring and brought a lot of comfort to a lot of people. On behalf of so many, I want to thank you both for your service and for your sacrifice and for your willingness to serve our community. I will miss you both, but I look forward to seeing you soon. Before we move on to business, do anybody else have any comments? Okay, then we'll go to...
Mayor Lemon?
Okay.
Mayor Lemon?
Yes.
This is Tom. I would like to thank everybody for their comments. That's very, very much appreciated. It's been a pleasure over these last 24 years being on planning and being on council to serve the residents of our city. And it has been a great honor, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Hanson. Anyone else? Okay, do we have any public comments waiting?
Yes, we do, Madam Mayor. We will do what we did at the March 17th meeting, and that is first go through the public comments that we have by telephone and then by email. So we will start with Andrew that will handle the public comments that we received by telephone, and then we will go to our city clerk, Ms. Heidi Luce, for any public comments that she may have received by email. So I'll hand it over to Andrew first. Andrew?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Lemons and members of the City Council. As John mentioned, we're going to do it the way we did last time. So if you could just bear with me, there will be a small delay in how we, because we have to contact each speaker that has called in. So give me 1 second, I'll get him on the line.
Hello?
Good evening. This is the City of Paramount calling for Alfredo Banuelos.
This is he.
I'm contacting you regarding your request for public comment for the Paramount City Council meeting. You are now being broadcast to the City Council. Your public comments will be limited to 3 minutes starting now.
Hello, everyone. I'm calling just to follow up on my previous call, which I just heard City Manager John Moreno say he's going to address in one of the agenda points. Thank you for listening to my request for the last time. However, things are different than when I called a few weeks ago. And so I was just calling to follow up on that, state a few different things. I continue to press on this issue, how important it is to set a moratorium on the evictions and on the rent payments, not only for residential residents, but also for the commercial residents. I believe that's also an item on the agenda. I highly support those measures. Things seem like they're only going to get worse. And if I noticed correctly, or if I read the items correctly, these measures, and including the parking measure that was taken last time, was only, I think, for 30 days. I don't think that that's going to be enough to, and I don't think it's reasonable to continue to go 30 days by 30 days. I'm hoping that perhaps also that could be extended, and not only could the relief measures toward the housing could be extended, but also toward the utility payments, canceling all water shutoffs and other service areas that the city is in charge of. Perhaps a 6-month moratorium on until the emergency notice is relieved is probably a good idea. I also, what's my time? I'm sorry.
Well, you have 45 seconds now.
Okay, I'll rush. So, yeah, basically we just need more time, and I don't think 30 days over and over is going to be enough. Also, I'd like to congratulate the winners. Unfortunately, results weren't as I expected, but I believe in redemption. I hope things turn out okay, and that the new city council members and the ones that have been there could, uphold their oath to willfully, faithfully discharge their duties. And I remind them that their duties are to not only as a moral obligation, but their incumbency as city officials is to maximize the welfare of the people, to respect our freedoms, and to promote virtue, and that virtue is by setting an example. I truly hope you can do a good job, and they can prioritize the people more than anything, more than economic interests, which is my concern, primary concern. I'm very glad that we have a group of council women, a full group of council women. That is really nice to see, and I wish you all good luck. Stay strong, Lori, council member again, I'm sorry. And so, just to recap, please consider all the other services and all the other needs that the people here in the city have beyond the evictions.
Mayor Lemons, his
thank
time
you.
is up.
Okay, I will be getting the next public speaker, or next public comment on the line. Please bear with me.
Mayor Lemons, this is John Moreno. Would you like for me to announce a 10-second warning as the time is getting near? Would you care for me to do that?
Are you asking would I like you to give a 10-second warning?
Yes.
Yes, you can give them a 10-second warning, and then just go ahead and call their time when it ends, and if there's a request for an extension, we'll consider what the topic is and go from there.
You got it.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Scully speaking. I can barely hear it. I took it off. I've had it on regular phone. I had to go on speaker. I'm sorry. I removed all my family out of the living room. Is that okay?
For you to be on speaker?
Yes, because I can't hear.
I didn't notice any difference in the squeaking that's happening, so I don't think it's from that. So I think you have to do best practice what allows you to participate, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Sorry for the interruption.
Okay,
No,
we have
that's
the next speaker on the line.
John?
Yes, we do have the next speaker on the line.
Good evening, Viviano Fabella. This is the City of Paramount calling. I'm contacting you regarding your request for public comment for the Paramount City Council meeting. You are now being broadcast to the City Council live. Your public comments will be limited to 3 minutes starting now.
Good evening, City of Paramount, City Council members. I call to congratulate the incoming City Council members, Isabel Aguayo, Brenda Olmos, and Vilma Queer-Stallings for joining. And the City Council, I think the city did a great job in choosing the right candidates for the job. These are unprecedented times, and we know that you will do a great job. Looking forward to the upcoming years, and especially during these unprecedented times. I also wanted to thank, on behalf of the Paramount Lions Club and Paramount Scout Troop, the service to outgoing Mayor Tom Hansen and Daryl Hoffmeyer for your years of service and commitment in making the city of Paramount a city that we're all proud to live in and work in. And we wish you the best. And that's about all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
We have 2 more speakers. Andrew's getting speaker number 3 on the line, and this is again the telephone speakers. And as of right now, we have 1 emailed speaker. So again, we're going to number 3 speaker from the telephone line.
Okay.
Good evening. I am looking for Tony Warfield.
That's me.
Hi, Tony. This is the City of Paramount. I am contacting you regarding your request for public comment for the Paramount City Council meeting. You are now being broadcast live to the City Council. Your comments will be limited to 3 minutes starting now.
Well, thank you very much. And I just wanted to call in and congratulate all the new councilwomen. And I'm very proud of each of you. And I also want to congratulate and thank you for the success for the mayor and vice mayor. As a resident of Paramount, I got to tell you, I'm very excited about the direction of the city. Being a former veteran, I've bounced around for so many decades, and finally being able to find a home here in Paramount, I definitely appreciate the leadership and how the city has been has risen. I mean, I remember Paramount as a younger guy going to the drive-in movie theater and seeing so many challenges there in the city, and then coming back here so many years later, seeing the progress that this city has enjoyed. I definitely appreciate it. I'm confident that the new candidates will continue that, and I'm excited at the direction that the city is going. With everything that's going on in the world right now, you know, I even tell my kids that I truly believe that Paramount will be an oasis, and we have to work together as a community to continue that. So once again, thank you and congratulations to each of you. And that's my time.
Thank you for your comments.
We have one more by phone, and we're dialing them up right now.
Hello.
Good evening. Looking for Linda Johnson.
Yes, Andrew?
Yes. Hi. This is the city.
Hi. Am I
Hi.
next?
Good. Yes, you are on live broadcast with the City Council. Your public comments will be limited to 3 minutes starting now.
Okay. Hi. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council, and the city manager. This is Linda Johnson, Field Deputy to Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn. And I'm here speaking on behalf of Supervisor Hahn, in wanting to thank outgoing Mayor Tom Hansen and outgoing Vice Mayor Della Hoffmeyer on our leadership in the city. And it is our hope that we will be able to present them a scroll in person, to personally thank them for their service to the city of Paramount. And to the newly elected members, Council Member Brenda Olmos, Council Member Isabel Aguayo, and Council Member Vilma Cuellar-Stalnes. Congratulations on joining the leadership team at the City of Paramount on their council, and I'm looking forward to working with you three and actually with all five of you as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, Madam Mayor, that's oops, I'm sorry. That's it for the telephone public comments. Now we'll move over to the one emailed public comment that we received earlier today. And with that, I'll turn it over to City Clerk Heidi Luce.
Thank you. This comment is from Paramount resident Vivian Hansen. Good evening. Sorry I can't be with you tonight to celebrate this special occasion, but I want to add my congratulations to newly elected council members Vilma Stallings and Isabel Aguayo, and re-elected council member Brenda Olmos. I am almost as delighted as you are with the recent success and wish you the best in your new venture. The citizens of Paramount will benefit from your hard work, creativity, and expertise as you work as a team to continue the progress that has made us the strong city we are. Please accept my very best wishes for a productive and happy term of office. I also want to thank council members Darrell Hoffmeyer and Dr. Tom Hansen for your years of service on the City Council. You made a difference and can leave knowing the city is in good hands and proud of what you have accomplished. May you all stay safe and healthy.
And there are no more public comment cards, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so we're ready to move into the agenda. Just a brief housekeeping item. If you will continue, please, to identify yourselves when you speak. That would be great for record keeping for the staff. So if you make a motion or a second, just identify yourself. And if any discussion takes place in an effort to keep us from talking over one another, please ask to be recognized by the mayor before speaking so that we can take comments in order should that be necessary. And with that, we'll move to item 8 and a staff report.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. And if I could also, one more housekeeping issue, remind everybody if they are not speaking, if they could put their phone on mute, that would really help with the feedback. Item number 8 is for the approval of the Measure Y implementation. Earlier this evening, the City Council took action to declare the results of the general municipal election held in Paramount on March 3rd, at which a transaction and use tax, which was Measure Y, was approved by the voters. So pursuant to the Revenue and Taxation Code Section 7265, the tax is scheduled to go into effect on July 1st, 2020. Similar to the existing sales tax, which is about 3 months behind, we expect to see the new revenue sometime in September or October, and with a true-up in the following months. Now, in order to implement this new tax, the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration requires the City Council to, number 1, adopt Resolution 20-008, which authorizes the city manager to execute agreements with the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration for the implementation of a local transaction and use tax. And this includes the preparatory agreement and an administrative agreement, which is in your packet tonight. And just as a side note, this department in the state of California is the one that's responsible for the implementation and collection of the new tax. So that's the first thing that we need from you. The second thing that we need from the council is the adoption of Resolution 20-009. Now, this resolution authorizes the examination of sales, use, and transaction tax records. This actually allows for city staff and our sales tax consultants to access records for analysis and auditing purposes. And the third item underneath this item is the approval of an agreement for the transaction tax audit and information services. And what this does is it permits our consultant, HDL, to do ongoing reviews and analysis of the new tax. And with that, it is recommended that the council approve, again, resolution number 2008, 20009, and approve the agreement for transaction tax audit and information services. And with that, that concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So moved. All the resolutions mentioned, and C for the approval of the agreement on the transaction for tax audit.
Excuse me, Councilmember. Hello? Excuse me, Councilmember Gillen. Wait, just one moment, John, and then you can come in. We're going to be taking these items one by one. We'll need a motion and an approval on each one. And before we move into any questions, did you want to add something, City Attorney?
No, Madam Mayor, I wanted to just articulate what you just said, that we need to do it separately, so thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions or discussion on any of the three items? Hearing none, we'll entertain first Resolution 2008. And I have a motion to approve by Councilmember Gillen.
I will second. This is Councilmember Olmos.
It's been moved and seconded. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. We'll entertain Resolution 20009.
I make a motion to read by title only and adopt Resolution 20009. This is Councilmember Olmos.
Been moved by Olmos. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Isabel.
And I have a second by Aguayo. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Item C, approval. Entertain a motion.
So moved. This is Olmos.
I have a first by, I think that was Stallings. Was that correct?
Yes. Yes.
I have a motion by Stallings. Do I have a second?
Can you hear me? Hello? Just starting to hear you. Yes. Okay. Second
Okay,
by
I have
Guillen.
a second by Guillen. Moved by Stallings, seconded by Guillen. May we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 9. We have a staff report, and this we have a slide presentation for too, correct?
Yes, we do, Madam Mayor. And with that, we will, once we get into the staff report, staff will kind of guide us on when she is changing the different slides. So as far as introduction goes, believe it or not, the city actually owns bridges in town. The particular bridges that we'll be discussing tonight with you are on Rosecrans over the Los Angeles River. The bridges need some work, and this work is very, very complicated. This would be a multi-year, multi-phase project. Even before construction can start, there are several phases of just the engineering and the designing that's involved. So with that, I will turn it over to our Public Works Director, Ms. Adriana Figueroa, to explain this item to us. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, I understand you have the presentation in front of you. I will move on to what it's now page number 2 or slide number 2. As indicated to you, this project involves the Rosecrans Bridge over the LA River. Technically speaking, we have 2 bridge structures which were originally built in 1951. These structures, which are the eastbound and the westbound, were lengthened between the late 1950s to early 1960s and seismically retrofitted in 1991. The proposed improvements will extend the bridge's life as well as bring it to current standards and in compliance with the Association of State Highway Transportation Officials. The bridge itself is listed on the National Highway System, and the project will be primarily funded by the Federal Highway Bridge Program, which are federal funds that are managed through Caltrans. I'm moving now on to the next slide, which is slide number 3. This project is for design services only, but it's, as John indicated, is a pretty complex project. Again, under this federal grant program, the bridge is looked at as 2 bridges, the eastbound and the westbound. The design itself is further broken down into a conceptual design, environmental clearance, final designs, and assistance during construction. This is later broken down even further, and I'll get into that in the next slides. So next slide is slide number 4. This project follows Caltrans procurement practices. Proposals were received on July 9th, 2009, and those came in from CNS Engineers, IDC Consulting Engineers, Kleinfelder, and Pac Rim Engineering. We had a panel that reviewed all proposals, and we looked for qualifications, level of experience with similar projects, and creativity with designing elements. We then score each company based on that set criteria. And once a selection was made, we then opened up that cost proposal for that company. That's actually just similar to the previous projects we brought to you at the last council meeting, which was the phase 2 of the Bikeway project. It's a similar concept, it's a similar procurement practice because it is managed through a Caltrans funding source. So what happens is once we make the selection for that company, we then open up that cost proposal and then return all unopened cost proposals to their respective companies. Based on their level of experience and familiarity with federal and state bridge grant funding programs, we did select IDC Consulting Engineers. We did encounter delays as Caltrans modify their procurement process and require grantees to adopt Chapter 10 of their Local Assistant Procedures Manual, which was done by the council in October of last year. Once that step was completed, we then submitted our request to Caltrans for review and approval, and we just recently received that approval and authorization for the consultant selection on this project. I'll move on to the next slide, which is slide number 5. The overall project cost for the entire design of the project is $2.4 million. However, the project before you today is the initial phase of the design, which is listed at $573,000. Of this amount, $507,000 are coming from the Federal Highway Bridge Program and $65,723 from Metro. This initial phase is also known as the initial scope definition phase, which involves a detailed analysis of the structural and seismic capacity of the existing structures and determination of the appropriate rehabilitation or replacement strategy. Once a rehab or replacement strategy is determined, we will know the total construction cost would be, what that would be, and we will be seeking additional funding in order to complete the entire design project. Council approval will be required for any additional phases of the design project. Next slide. It is recommended that the City Council award the contract for professional environmental and engineering design services to IDC Consulting Engineers in the amount of $573,000 and authorize the mayor or designee to execute the agreement. That concludes my presentation, but I'll be happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you, Adriana. Are there questions or discussion on this item? If there is none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. This is almost.
Second by Cuellar Stallings.
Been moved by Olmos and seconded by Cuellar Stallings. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. We'll move on to item 10, resolution number 2006. Staff report, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, every 5 years, we re-enter into an agreement with Los Angeles County for general services. Now, general services are considered other services not including law enforcement services that we receive through the LA County Sheriff's Department. That's an entirely a separate contract. An example of a general service that we currently use through the county is the assessment of delinquent trash services, and this is provided to us through the County Auditor Controller's Office. The county has many, many other municipal services that we could have them provide to our community if the need were to ever arise, and that's the purpose of this agreement. So with that, I'll turn it over to, once again, our Public Works Director, Adriana Figueroa, who will tell you a little bit more about this item. Ms. Figueroa?
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, as John indicated, this general services agreement allows the city to contract with the county basically on an as-needed basis for a variety of what we call non-routine services. Adopting this 5-year agreement eliminates the need to sign individual agreements for each specific service type. Paramount's current agreement with the county will expire in June of this year. The attached resolution and agreement extends the general services agreement for another 5-year term until June 30th, 2025. Again, under this agreement, the city only incurs cost once it has requested the service from the county. It is recommended that the City Council adopt resolution number 2020-006 and authorize the mayor or her designee to execute the agreement. And that concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Adriana. Are there questions? If
Mayor
not,
Lemons,
we'll
I have one question.
Yes. Who am I speaking with?
This is almost.
Yes.
I have one question for Adriana, please.
Yes, please go ahead.
You know, Adriana, can you just give me what another non-routine service would be besides trash assessment, just to educate myself?
Sure. The delinquent tax assessment would be one. Another is sometimes we contract for inspection services on a specific project. Encroachment permits, perhaps, is another.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, almost.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, didn't hear who made the second?
Aguayo.
Been moved by Olmos, seconded by Aguayo. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 11, resolution 20010.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. I'm going to handle this item, and then we're going to ask for your approval of a resolution. As you know, we're in the midst of a pandemic that is affecting all of our communities, and as a result, on March the 17th, the City Council took action to ratify the city manager's proclamation of a local emergency in the city of Paramount. The emergency was proclaimed on March 13th by the city manager acting as the city's Director of Emergency Services. Now, this proclamation allows the city to respond effectively to the coronavirus pandemic and efficiently allocate resources where needed to help protect the community. When it comes to the COVID-19 situation, we're obviously not out of the woods yet. So the resolution before you tonight would extend the emergency proclamation for another 30 days. We've done a lot to assist the community, and at the last council meeting, I went over a pretty extensive list with you on how the employees of the city have worked so diligently to respond to the pandemic up to that point. So before I turn it back over to the council for discussion and a vote, I'd like to highlight some of the most recent actions that we've taken to help the community, and there is about a dozen of them, so hang in here with me as I go over this extensive list, but I need you really to know that we are doing all we can to help out here. So the first one that I want to discuss with you is masks. We definitely placed a large order of cloth masks for the community. Masks, though they're not part of a public health order yet, they are a recommendation to help stop the spread of it. So once again, LA County has not mandated that everybody wear them. But it could help to help prevent the spread of the virus. We've ordered 20,000 masks through a vendor, and the vendor will also donate 10,000 more for a total of 30,000 masks. We should have our first batch by late tomorrow, and the plan is to distribute them on Friday and Saturday. Details of how we're going to distribute the masks will be out, I'm hoping, by tomorrow. And we intend to use the savings in this year's budget that we have from canceling some of the community events to partially fund the purchase of the masks. And moving on to seniors, as I mentioned last time, we are doing a lot for seniors. We're still continue to do that. We're doing a home delivery still once per week, and they're getting 10 meals. And this is for 144 recipients. So that's a total of 1,440 meals that we are giving to our seniors. We're also delivering restaurant meals that are donated by several restaurants in town. And those are up to the tune of 50 hot meals per week. We're also doing welfare checks by phone, and these have been very successful. The seniors really, really like them a lot. We started something new this week. We are celebrating our seniors' birthdays to them. So how this works is we're sending out a birthday crew of 3 to 4 staff members to leave balloons and an information sheet about what happened on the year they were born and a birthday cupcake for them. So far, and all this is done obviously with social distancing and everything else in mind. So far, we've done 6 to 8 of them already. So now moving over to outreach, we found another way to reach out to our residents. Staff members have been are going to start making wellness checks calls to the families who are enrolled in our STAR program. Now, this is a total of 1,200 families in our community, and it'll take us a couple days to call them all. What we're planning to do is refer them to our website for COVID information, and also refer them to something new that we're starting, which is a virtual recreation ideas. So we will have that going as well. Just a little note, speaking of outreach, about our COVID webpage. As you know, we do have a webpage that is dedicated to the coronavirus. So over the last week, this is pretty impressive, we've had almost 2,700 views of our pages. Of that one page, 2,700 views. The most popular clicked on topic was the revision of the county health order. As you know, the county has revised the health order consistently, it seems like every week. So every week that they revise it, we update that and we post it there. And that seems to be getting a lot of attention there. Sticking with outreach, as I mentioned to you in a previous email, we have rented 4 electronic roadside message boards, and these are located on both ends of Paramount Boulevard. Also, one is located on Alondra, and one is located on Rosecrans. And we are putting a new message up each week with helpful COVID reminders like stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, and those types of things. New to our efforts is a rental assistance program. As you know, the city was approved for a Measure H grant to help the homeless, and that was we were able to get that grant a few months ago. To prevent Paramount residents from becoming homeless, we asked if we could loosen the requirements on that program, and we are now using that homeless grant to help people who cannot pay their rent due to COVID-19. And the county gave us approval of that last week, and already we've seen that 8 applications have come in during the month of March, and 4 of them have come in already in April. 1 has been approved. The grant is actually given, we actually are able to give out $2,000 per application for rental assistance. So that's good news there. We also started something new a couple of weeks ago. We established a dedicated phone line for COVID calls. And this, we're finding we're receiving up to 8 to 10 calls per day. Also, we started a local resource sharing page. Now, what this is we've put together a local resource page for residents and businesses that can be utilized during the Safer at Home order. We're asking residents and businesses who are able to provide a useful product or a service to their community that they complete an online form. Then this information will be turned around and shared on our COVID webpage for individuals to connect with each other. It's a work in progress. So far, most of the input we received have been sales types resources like refinancing your home. We're going to do our best to remarket this effort and see if we can get better information with that. Moving along to our parks. As you know, one of the revisions of the county health orders was to close down playgrounds and play areas, and we did that. We immediately closed down all of the playground areas in our parks. We did attempt to keep Salud Park, which is our fitness park, open for walkers and joggers. However, we had to close it down. People just unfortunately were not practicing social distancing, and we also got complaints from area neighbors. Similarly, we closed the skate park, the basketball courts there as well. However, skaters kept getting in, so we had to take drastic measures, and we actually poured wood chips down inside the bowl. And that has seemed to help to keep the skaters away because obviously they were not practicing social distancing efforts as well. We've had some things occur too with trash collection. As I informed you earlier, we had to notify our residents about this. The county is not separating any trash from recycled items at their facilities due to COVID-19. So as a result, the trash haulers are not separating their loads out in the field. So what this means is that there is just one truck that's coming by on trash day to pick up both the black barrel, which is the garbage, and the blue barrel, which are the recyclables. So we did get feedback from residents thanking us for telling them that on social media because they did notice that as well. Street sweeping. We continue to not cite vehicles for street sweeping. In some of our more parking congested areas, residents are simply not moving their vehicles. This does make it difficult at times for us to clean the streets, but we do send out crew members to manually clean up the gutter between the cars and the curb. Also, I'd like to point out that recent rains have helped in this effort. We'll continue to monitor the condition of the streets in those parking challenged areas to determine if we have to take further action, because definitely the sanitation of our local community is very, very important for that. And public safety. I had a conference call with the LA County Sheriff today. So just a little bit here about public safety. Crime statistics are down. Crime is down everywhere is what they're saying. Overall, crime is down by 6.5% in the county. This accounts for a 6.2% decrease in violent crime and a 6.6% in property crime. Calls for service are actually down by about 13%, so that's a big jump down on calls for service. As far as testing, the deputies are being tested as much as possible. The Sheriff's Department currently has 394 deputies that are in quarantine. 24 have actually tested positive for COVID-19. The 394 are in quarantine just as a precautionary measure. They have another 115 that have already returned to work from being quarantined. As far as extra patrol, there are 400 extra deputies that are working out on patrol, and this is a combination of deputies that would normally sit behind a desk, either through detective work or other thing of that nature. The Sheriff Department also reported to us that the enforcement of the health order is going very well. They've had to not virtually cite or arrest anybody that is in violation of the health order. They are finding that people are being compliant, which is good news. Continuing on with public safety, they did also give us a little information about how things are going in the jails. They don't anticipate releasing any inmates due to the outbreak of COVID. They did actually arrangements early on to prevent the spread of COVID within the jails. And this is just as a reminder, the LA County jail system is the largest jail system in the nation. And so far, they only have 3 inmates that have tested positive for COVID. And one of those has already been released out of quarantine. So now they only have 2 throughout the whole jail system. And lastly, in bringing you up to speed on what's going on with COVID, as far as from a financial standpoint, last week, the governor announced that the state will allow small businesses, which are defined as businesses that have less than $5 million in taxable annual sales, to defer payment of sales and use tax up to $50,000, and this will go up to 12 months. While there's definitely a benefit for some of the local businesses, there are definitely significant concerns and adverse impacts this presents to cities and our ability to fund crucial services to our residents. It would essentially mean that a lot of the small businesses in town would not have to pay their sales tax for 12 months. The League of California Cities is already working on analyzing these impacts, and they're also helping to discuss with the governor's administration the critical need for resources to possibly backfill with us, because there are substantial negative impacts that this will have on us. So no doubt this will be, as we are preparing the budget for next year, this will be a tough one as a result of this. So with that, now back over to the recommendation before you tonight, and that is to approve Resolution 20-010, which will extend the emergency proclamation for another 30 days, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, this is the city attorney.
Yes, sir.
Before you actually vote, if the council would allow, we need to include additional language, if it's possible. I got contacted by Adriana Lopez, our public safety director, and in our prior resolution, one of the items that authorizes the director of operations is to work with the various federal and state agencies for reimbursement of costs that are related to the COVID-19 crisis. Our Area E Disaster Management Coordinator has recommended that we add the additional language to make it more definitive that we're able to actually apply for federal assistance. So if the mayor would be willing to, I would like to recite the following language into the record so that when you take a vote, that would be part of your motion and your voting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The following language, Madam Mayor and Council, that I would like to put in for the record to include in your extension of the emergency is as follows. The City of Paramount is requesting the County of Los Angeles and the State of California waive regulations that may hinder response and recovery efforts, and that recovery assistance be made available under the California Disaster Assistance Act, and that the state expedite access to state and federal resources and any other appropriate federal disaster relief programs. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Cavanaugh. So the motion would be to, as written, and to include the language read into the record by the city attorney. And I will entertain a motion at this time.
Motion to move resolution 20-010, extending the proclamation of the emergency by the Director of Emergency Services and said language. This is Gillen. I second. This is Quera Stalling.
Okay, so we have a motion by Gillen and a second by Cuellar Stalling. We have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Gillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. We're going to move on to item 12. And we have a staff report, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. As you know, at the December 17th City Council meeting, the City Council directed the City Attorney to research possible eviction moratoriums that could be put in place if the Council so desired regarding COVID-19. So with that, I will turn it over to the City Attorney who will handle the item. John?
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, as you know, on March 4th, 2020, the Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency as a result of the COVID-19 epidemic. That declaration gave him the power to issue executive orders that provide guidance as well as those that have the force of law. Initially, on March 16th, Governor Newsom issued Executive Order 28-20. That order suspended state law limitations that would prevent local cities from adopting eviction bans. At the March 17, 2020 City Council meeting, the collective City Council directed the City Attorney's Office to investigate and report back to the Council findings on the various legal issues that may be associated with the City Council adopting a moratorium prohibiting such eviction.
Mr. Cavanaugh?
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I got dropped for some reason, and I hate to ask you this, but I need you to start your report over. As soon as you began it, I was dropped from the call.
Oh, that's okay, Madam Mayor. I can do that right now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, sir.
Okay, great. On March 4th, 2020, Governor Newsom declared a state of emergency as a result of the COVID-19 epidemic. That declaration gave him the power to issue executive orders that provide guidance as well as those that have the force of law. Initially, his March 16th Executive Order 28-20 suspended state law limitations that would prevent local cities from adopting eviction bans. At the March 17th, 2020 City Council meeting, the collective City Council directed the City Attorney's Office to investigate and report back to the City Council findings on the various legal issues that may be associated with the City Council adopting a moratorium ordinance prohibiting such evictions. On March 25th, 2020, many state legislators, including your own legislators, signed a letter urging the governor to enact a statewide residential eviction, also called a moratorium, during the emergency period. On Friday, March 27th, 2020, the governor did issue a statewide rule, which I've summarized in my staff report. On Executive Order 37-20 applies through May 31st, 2020, and provides as follows. This moratorium applies only to residential leases where rent has been paid under a written agreement before March 27th. It does leave in place
the ability of commercial landlords to seek and enforce evictions of commercial tenants. What that means is that local agencies are still able to adopt moratoriums for commercial evictions. The moratorium that Governor Newsom issued only applies to evictions for failure to pay rent for reasons directly related to the COVID-19 virus. Evictions for other reasons, such as breaches of non-monetary lease terms, are still allowed. In order for a tenant to qualify for the moratorium, the tenant must advise the landlord before the rent is due or no later than 7 days after the rent due date that the tenant is unable to pay all of the rent. The inability to pay must be for reasons related to COVID-19, which include 1, the inability to work because a tenant, excuse me, or a family member the tenant cares for is suspected or confirmed to have COVID-19. 2, the tenant is laid off from or lost hours at work due to the emergency at stay-at-home orders. Or 3, the tenant missed hours from work to care for a child whose schools closed in response to COVID-19. The tenant must have written documents of these conditions and must provide it to the landlord at the time the back rent is paid. The executive order does not relieve a tenant of the ability to pay all or part of the rent on time if the tenant can do so. The executive order does not stop landlords from filing an unlawful detainer action. Instead, a tenant is given an extra 60 days beyond the usual 5 days to file an answer in these proceedings. The state also applies to the enforcement of writs of possession, which are the legal orders given to the sheriff's department to actually remove the tenants from the dwelling unit. Effectively, the state extends the time a tenant can stay in the property, although theoretically rent is owed for that extended period. The executive order is enforced by a court's refusal to hear such actions, although at this point, most courts are closed during this time to hear those cases, and it's anticipated they will not be open until after May 31st. That is essentially the summary of what the governor's executive order with respect to residential evictions. A question has come up whether or not the city now can adopt a residential eviction ordinance. At this point, we don't have enough information, but it appears that from the language of Executive Order 37-20, it does say that any ordinance which is in conflict with that executive order is preempted. So we take that to mean that local agencies at this point are preempted from adopting any ordinance which is different than what the governor has. For those cities that adopted ordinances prior to March 27th, those ordinances probably aren't effective. However, they may be superseded or modified by the governor's executive order on March 27th. That concludes my presentation with respect to residential evictions. I had sent to all the council a legal memorandum, a confidential legal memorandum on the legal issues associated with the commercial evictions, should the council decide to consider that. I can answer any questions with respect to some of those, but I wanted to give that information to you so that you can make an informed decision. You are able to adopt such an ordinance, but obviously there are legal pitfalls associated therewith. And that concludes my presentation, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanaugh. We'll take questions or discussion at this time. And once again, just so we don't talk over each other, if you have questions or comment, ask to be recognized before you begin to speak. Is there anyone who has a question or comment at this time?
Lori again.
Yes, Ms. Guillen.
My only question is to our city manager, John Moreno. Did we get any questions or any phone calls, emails on business owners that were concerned that they weren't going to be able to collect their rent?
I would have to check to see. I'm looking at just the COVID hotline number log that I have for the last few days, and as we're speaking, I don't see any about inability to pay rent yet. Oh, I do have one here. Yeah, there is one person that asks, how long can they go without paying rent? So that was one. But I haven't seen
My
too many.
question, sir, is for commercial property. Did any of the property owners have any questions?
As far as property owners go, commercial property owners, yes, I'm looking over actually at our public safety director, Adriana Lopez, who's in the audience. So we have had some.
Yes, John, we have at the main number, the 220-2002,
Okay.
we have had some inquiries in regards to that.
And these are landlords, as Councilmember Guillen's asking?
It would not be landlords, it would be tenants.
Tenants, okay. Councilmember Guillen, were you requesting information on any landlords that had questions?
Right. I was. My question is, I just wanted to know if any landlords, property owners, were having concerns about whether or not we were going to pass a moratorium on property, on commercial property rent.
Yeah, no, I haven't taken any, and I don't think, I'm looking over at Ms. Lopez, and we haven't seen any. I did get a call early on, when I say early on, maybe the last week of March, from a residential property manager here in town, and they were concerned about that, so, but not commercial.
Okay, thank you.
Are there other questions, comments?
Mayor Lemons, I just have a comment. I just want to say to John Kavanaugh, yes,
Go right ahead.
Mr. Kavanaugh, I just want to say the March 16th and 2820 executive order really has changed compared to now what the N3720 has been. I read the 2820 compared to the 3720. There's a lot of differences. So I think the thing of it is too, and I think the N3720 covers more of the aspect of even from a city point as well as a tenant and a resident, because they have to make sure that the residents understand that this is a communication between the tenant and the landlord. They have to have a good communication in order for them to understand and talk to each other regarding the rent. And I think, we also maybe have to do a better job, and there's a website, there's tons of websites out there of how we can explain to residents that this is not a moratorium that you don't have to pay rent. You will still have to owe the rent. You're just delayed a couple months. So I just hope that, like I said, I know we have a lot of information out there, but if there's one piece out there that basically explains to them that this is just a hold, it's not that you don't have to pay, you still have to pay, and it will catch up. So thank you, John, for the summary. I really appreciate it.
Yes, Madam Mayor, if I can also add to Councilmember Olmos's statements, she's absolutely correct. That's why this is more of a stay than a moratorium, or you can call that. It doesn't waive the rent that the tenant has to pay. It just defers it over a period of time until the end of May 31st, or if there's going to be an extension. But after May 31st, that back rent is going to be due again. It will probably be something that the landlord and the tenant will need to negotiate with, but it doesn't say, hey, you don't have to pay the rent anymore. The other thing in my staff report, I suggested that that the terms of the summary of the executive order with respect to residential evictions may be placed on our website, both in English and Spanish.
Thank you, John. Let me ask, is staff aware of any comprehensive piece of literature or social media site that has this information in a simple, understandable format, or is it something that we need to develop?
I believe it'd be something we would need to develop, Mayor Lemons. We could look to, there is a lot of information out there about it. The governor's office, namely, would, since they did the anti-eviction ordinance for residential, it's very likely they did put out a public information piece. But we could definitely check everywhere to see if they do have something already, and if not, we can definitely create something.
Yeah, I think at the very least, as long as we put, some kind of notice that, COVID-19 does not, alleviate you from your financial responsibilities, please check with, and maybe even refer them to something.
Sure.
If it becomes way too complicated to explain and that it's ever changing, I know that too. So maybe if there's just a buyer beware warning at the very least, that, this doesn't alleviate the responsibilities, maybe that would be helpful.
Absolutely. We will definitely get on that.
Okay, so any other questions or comments on this item? If not, it's a report for a receive and file. And so I'll entertain a motion for receive and file.
So moved.
I'll second. This is Olmos.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Gillen, seconded by Councilmember Olmos, that we receive and file this item. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Guillen? Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Councilmember Aguayo.
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos.
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. And then there's part B of this, which is if we want to give any direction to the city attorney to prepare and bring back an ordinance. And if so, we're to provide him with direction.
Well, I think, Mayor, this is Councilmember Guillen.
Yes.
I think that, as Mr. Kavanaugh explained, I think that the order that was put out by the governor pretty much outlines everything that a city, is required or not required to do at this point. So I don't know. Do you think it's necessary to have anything beyond that?
And that's what we're voting on, is whether we want him to come back with something more, or if we're satisfied at this point, and so we'll give him no directions to develop anything further. Am I correct in that, Mr. Kavanaugh?
Yes, Madam Mayor, that's correct.
Okay. So this is for us to say, I make a motion that we, accept the item as presented and no further direction at this time, or we would give him direction.
I make a motion that we accept the order as given by the governor, and we fall under those same guidelines. I think it's clear that it would, everything would fall under that order, and I don't think we need to delve any further. That's my opinion.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Ian. Do you have a second? Okay, so the motion's been made by Councilmember Ian that we accept the report as given, and we have no further direction for the city attorney at this time, and seconded by Cuellar Stallings. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo.
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen.
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos.
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. We'll move on to item 13, Resolution 20011.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Our Public Safety Director, Ms. Adriana Lopez, will handle the item. Adriana?
Yes, thank you, John. Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. This is a housekeeping thing or form that needs to be completed. The State of California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, also known as Cal-OES, expects for local cities to maintain certain state forms to receive reimbursements, grants, or disaster recovery funds. The City of Paramount does not have a current Cal-OES Form 130 on file with the state, so the form would require that the city designate 3 individuals to serve as authorized agents to engage with FEMA, which stands for Federal Emergency Management Agency, as well as Cal OES regarding reimbursement requests and grant applications. The City Council would designate the City Manager, Finance Director, and Public Safety Director as the three individuals to serve as the authorized agents. It is recommended that the City Council read by title only and adopt Resolution Number 20-011 and authorize the submission of the Cal OES 130 form. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Adriana. Are there questions or comments?
So moved, Olmos.
Second, Aguayo. Moved by Olmos, seconded by Aguayo. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen, Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes, thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to move into comments and committee reports from council members. And to give our new people a chance to breathe and take this in, we're going to go ahead and start with you, Councilmember Gillen.
Okay, I just want to congratulate all the new council members. That's a very exciting time when you get elected, so I just want to put my congratulations out there to you. And then I just want to thank the staff for the way they have taken care of our senior citizens. I think that I've gotten a lot of calls that they're very satisfied and they felt very special with the balloons that they received for their birthday, so that was cool. And then I want to just take a moment to say, I just want to pray for all our first responders in the city. And that's a personal note to me. I have two son-in-laws, my own son, and my daughter on the front line. And so I just want to pray for all of them and all our residents for all their safety. And I just want to say I hope everyone stays home, stay safe, and that we stick together as a community during these trying times. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Gillen. Vice Mayor Olmos.
Thank you, Mayor Lemon. I have one comment, and then I will say something to the residents. Adriana, I'm glad you're there in the audience. The only thing I could say, I think we're doing a great job with COVID. I think we're all over it. But with the one thing that I'm still getting calls and concerns are about gatherings. I think gatherings are still happening in front of people's houses and behind people's houses, and I've gotten a few of those calls lately. So if there's anything, I know our deputies are super busy, but if there's anything that we could do, a little bit more patrolling on the street just to make sure that kids are not hanging out or adults not hanging out and not practicing the social distancing, I'd appreciate that. But to the residents,
Vice Mayor,
we're going through some challenging times. I think we as a city, I really feel that we're doing everything in our means to really assist the community. And this is truly, it's a health crisis, and this is nothing that we've ever faced. And I think we all need to navigate through the situation, and we really, really do have a responsibility to do our part in preventing the spread of the COVID-19. I really do appreciate all the calls that I'm getting for the residents. You guys have some great questions. Keep them coming. That's what we're here is to help you out. And I really do urge you guys to visit the website. Stay updated. There's so much good information on there. Or call the hotline. We have that hotline for COVID questions. And I just want to wish everybody, like Councilman Guillen said, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay home. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I could just interject real quick. Ms. Lopez did have something to mention to one of Vice Mayor Olmos's questions.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. One of the things that I just wanted to encourage the residents to call directly to the sheriff's station. Currently, the dispatcher is asking specific questions regarding the call, just so that they're not sending first responders without additional information should someone in the crowd or someone in the gathering have tested positive for COVID or have been exposed to it. So we are encouraging our residents to call directly if they see a large gathering or if they see somebody who's not complying with the order. And I can give that number out. It's 562-220-2002. That would be the Paramount Sheriff's Station, or the Lakewood station would be 562-623-3500.
Thank you, Adriana.
Okay, Councilmember Aguayo. Anything you'd like to share or ask?
This situation is evolving daily, so we have to remember that we have to be flexible. Sometimes, yes, it's uncomfortable to not be able to go and, go to the grocery store the way we normally would, but be responsible for yourself and, think about the rest of our Paramount residents. So stay home, stay safe, have a blessed Easter, and thank you again.
Thank you. Councilmember Cuellar Stallings.
Yes. The same as Ms. Gillen, Councilwoman Gillen, let's pray for our first responders. I also have family members that are serving out there, and not only in the state of California, but all in other states. Let's pray for and take care of also our seniors. If you have a senior close by, I have neighbors, two of them close by that I try to check on them periodically. So that would be very helpful, and I know they really appreciate it. And also, like Brenda said, let's continue checking the website. The Paramount website is very, very important information and very helpful, and also call the hotline. And also to all the residents of Paramount and other cities, take care, be safe, and stay home. God bless. Have a happy, blessed Easter.
Thank you. I would like to put a question on the table, John, or something for us to check out. I have had some calls regarding fast food eateries or restaurants where people are going to pick up food, and they were concerned that the people giving them their food at either the drive up or at the restaurant, that they weren't wearing masks. And I was asked if the city could adopt something that made it mandatory if they're serving food that they had to wear masks. I know that I just got a text today that I haven't had a chance to validate it, so I hope it's correct information, that Mayor Garcetti had given workers in fast food and grocery stores and so forth the right to refuse service if the customer isn't wearing a mask. But I don't know how it plays on the other end. So if we could check that out and see if that is something that's supposed to be happening, or something that we may be able to take a step to make it happen, I think that would be a good thing. It's very comforting when you drive up and they're wearing gloves, but when they have no mask, it does make you a little uncomfortable. With that too, I just want to thank the staff too. I think you guys have done an outstanding job during this crisis. You've stepped up. You've showed your dedication, your creativity with all the tremendous ideas you're doing. I love the fact that with these new regulations that are coming in with masks, and I know how many people are having trouble getting masks. I've had several calls from people asking me, if there was a place that we could get them, or if the city had them, or if they could give them direction. And so I have let them know that the city has made a purchase and they'll be coming their way, and they're thrilled to hear that, because I guess trying to get them online, they're charging $15, $20 for a mask, and elastic to make your own is, next to impossible to find. So that's a great thing, and I'm glad that we're moving in that direction. I would add, right along with my other fellow council members, please stay home if it's at all possible for you. I know that some of you are considered essential services and have to be out there, but be safe. We wish you good health. We wish you a happy Easter, and each and every one of us that are up here are here to serve you, and we're happy to take your calls and answer your questions and do everything that we can together to get through this crisis. Thank you very much. With that, staff, do you have comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a couple of things. First off, as was said earlier, congratulations on behalf of the staff to the new council members. We look forward to working with you. Kind of an interesting tidbit here. We checked with the League of California Cities, and it looks like you will be the only female city council in all of LA County. So congratulations to you for that title. That's very distinctive. So that's neat. They tell me that's pretty rare. There may be other councils, other cities that have a council that's all female in the state of California. But they're telling me that definitely within LA County that you're the only one. So I look forward to working with you on that. Next, thank you for your patience with us and dealing with COVID, particularly with the council meeting tonight. We put this together at the last minute. Again, we thought we were going to be here, just the council and staff, the little bit of staff that we have here tonight. But so I appreciate your patience in dealing with us as we try to put this together for tonight. We are, I'm hoping, able to get video conferencing up and running for our next meeting for April the 21st. I'm sure you've seen a lot of that going on, video conferencing, and may even have taken part in a video conference. That's really popular these days, to hold meetings, obviously, through video conferencing. So that is our hope. So we will be in touch with each individual council member to discuss your internet, things like your internet speed, internet browsers, just to make sure we're all on the same page when we roll that out for the April 21st meeting. So with that, Madam Mayor, that's about it from staff.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to recess into closed session. And before we do that, I'm going to call for a minimum of a 2-minute break. Please take one if you need to. We will do a roll call check one at a time. We come back and make sure we're all back on the line. But if you need a brief break, please take it now. We're going to take 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. And can we have Tom Hansen and Daryl Hoffmeyer disconnect from the line? Thank you. Okay, we're on.
Okay, Mr. City Attorney, if you will give a status update.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City Council did conduct a duly authorized closed session, and the closed session was pursuant to initiation of litigation. And in that closed session, the council did vote on a vote of 5-0 to join in a coalition lawsuit against Southern California Edison to compel it to stop its practice of under-collecting utility users tax, including the city of Paramount. That concludes my presentation, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And with that, from all of us, we wish you all a happy holiday coming up for Easter. Be safe, be healthy, and we will be adjourned until our next meeting on April 21st at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.